Hi guys, and welcome back to the Divine Witch, and this is part 2 of our tarot reading edition. Now, as always, keep in mind, if you haven't watched the first video, go watch that. I'll explain some things, exactly what I'm doing here. But today we are going over the suit, which is identified with the Suit of Cups. And we're going to go through the cards. I'm going to give you my own personal take on them as best as I can. And this is just to help you guys who've been telling me, hey, will you give me how you do readings? Like, it's going to be a little bit different, just for the reading. Just for the reason being that I do mine a little bit different. It depends on the cards surrounding it. It depends on what the vibe I'm getting from the person and what I'm hearing, seeing, feeling, etc. So keep that in mind as you're watching this video, and let's go ahead and let's dive in. Alright, and with that being said, this is the tarot deck that I am personally using for today. I know a lot of people would suggest the Rider deck, but realistically, depending on what deck you're using, depends on what you're seeing, and sometimes there's variations in between what that certain person who made the deck, what they chose to call it and stuff like that. So I'm using this deck today so that way you guys can see exactly the differences that I'm talking about, along with the similarities as well. I've also in the description included the website so you guys can see where I'm getting these like little things. There is flashcards on here that'll help you if you're trying to learn to read. If you do have one of those decks that are a little bit strayed away from, then you're just going to have to look it up online, see which one it associates with, and so on. So, the first card that we are going to start with today is the Ace of Cups. Now, if we look at the website and we look at their meaning, it says upright, which is going to always be the first one I say, and reversed is always going to be the second. So, upright, it is love, new relationships, compassion, creativity. Now, when we're talking about the opposite, the reverse side of that, it is self-love, intuition, repressed emotions. So, by the way, this is what the card looks like again. So, one thing that you're going to notice with the Suit of Cups is that this deals more with love, self, others, family, friends, and kind of how to bring it all in. So, you're going to see that as we go through these cards. Now, we've got the Two of Cups, as you guys can see. Very beautiful artwork on these cards, by the way. And in the upright position, it's unified love, partnership, and mutual attraction. Reversed would be self-love, breakups, distrust, or disharmony. So when we're looking at these cards and we're looking at the little keywords that they're giving us, because that's what it is little keywords, you're probably asking yourself, well, how do I know what I'm reading? Well, that's kind of where time comes in. And that's where you get your own personal flair. So let's say we have this card, which is the Two of Cups, and right beside it we have the One of Cups. Now, if we look at the One of Cups, once again, it's about love, new relationships. But if we look at this one, which is our second card, let's say if it's in reverse, okay? Because I read in reverse. If you don't, that's up to you. I've already made that opinion on the first video. So, automatically, you're in a new relationship, and I'm going to take it that there may be some distrust, or maybe you just don't feel comfortable with them yet. So, and I will put that into words to where you can understand. That's kind of where it comes personality, personalization, and for you. Now, this does get quite awkward when you're doing couple readings, and they're right there. That's why whenever I do couples, I always do a disclaimer. Don't get mad at me. I'm just reading what I see, and take it as you will. So, sometimes that works, sometimes it does not. So the next one we're going to take a look at is the Three of Cups. In the upright position, it is a celebration of friendship, of maybe like a new job, a new opportunity coming. Basically, it's a celebration card. Now, if it's in reverse, it means that you're kind of being alone, you're being distant, you're not really going out that much, and maybe you're feeling like three as a crowd kind of vibe. So, you know, there is distinct differences if you're reading reverse versus upright. And like I said, it's totally up to you guys on what you do. But whenever I see this card, once again, I look at the surrounding cards, see what's going on, see if it's going to be a celebration, a discelebration. Maybe there's something going on. Maybe you think some people are talking about you. It just really depends on what comes up around it. So the next card that we got is the Four of Cups, which is beautifully represented right here. Now this is more, like, as far as the deck, it is a very dark kind of deck. So for some people, this may not be your deck. Don't worry about it. It's perfectly fine. You know, use what feels right for you. But in the upright position, we've got meditation, apathy, revelation. In reverse, withdrawn, checking for alignment, and kind of retreat. So whenever I see this card come up to me, that means, like, I don't really basically know how I feel at the moment. I'm feeling taken back. And once again, guys, always remember, it also depends on what you're getting. If you're kind of like me and you use what you see, feel, hear, and all that, and pretty much everything, right? You know, you might get some things in between. So you might hear something or see something, and like a flash or something that's imagery to you. And you put a certain symbolism to that. So always keep that in mind when you are reading, my dears. So the next one that we are going to do is the Five of Cups, which is kind of giving me that vibe of to be or not to be. You see what I'm saying? And depending on how you want to look at this, and that's another thing. Like when you're looking at your cards, you can look at it and maybe something stands out that never stood out before, and that's something that you can relay in that message as well. But with this card, when it's in the upright position, we're looking at regret, failure, disappointment. If it's reversed, personal setbacks, self-forgiveness, moving on. So this card is really one that's a little bit heavier within the cup suit, as you can see. Now we've also got the Six of Cups, which is this beautiful card right here. So it's kind of like an unboxing, showing you guys the cards while kind of also giving you the meaning. Upright position, revisit past childhood memories, joy, living in the past, forgiveness, lacking playfulness. So, you know, sometimes when it comes to the suit, you're not going to only be in the present, you may be in the past or into the future. It just really depends on where the cards land and surrounding cards as well. So keep that in mind. So our next card that we've got is the Seven of Cups, which is very beautifully displayed. You've got kind of like that dark angel kind of vibe going on right now, which when we take a look at this, upright, opportunities, choices, wisdom, thinking, sometimes illusion, and then in the reverse we've got alignment, personal values, choices, and things like that. So as you can see, it's more about the self, how we're viewing things, how we're viewing ourselves, how we're viewing others around us. So the next one that we're going to go into is the Eight of Cups, which is represented by this beautiful little thing. Looks like we're in a graveyard summoning, doesn't it? And with that one, it's disappointment, abandonment, withdrawal, and escapism. That's in the upright position. In the reverse position, trying one more time, indecision, drifting, kind of walking aimlessly. So, you know, it's kind of one of those cards where you're either in a disappointment or you're just basically lost. So, you know, like I've always said, and I continue to say during this, it depends on what's around it. It depends on the context. It could be a past thing, a present thing. It just really depends on where their mind state is at the time. So keep that in mind. So the next card we are going to do is the Nine of Cups, which gives me that Egyptian tomb kind of vibe. In the upright position, it is contentment, satisfaction, gratitude, wishes to come true. Inner happiness is the reverse, materialism, indulgence. So if I was getting this and it was, let's say, reversed, then maybe you are indulging into something too much. The easiest thing that I can tell you when it comes to reading, if you can't remember all these like context clues, make it personalized for you. Pick the few things that seems right for you in your reading and use them. Plus with this flashcard type of thing that Pt2.com has, it makes it a little bit easier. And always remember, if you're new starting out, use a website, use a book. Now, this tarot deck does not come with its own little book, as I remember. I don't really remember. Actually, I lied. It does come with its own little book. So, this is what you get. And, you know, it's one of those small little things, and it just gives you, like, a brief description. It's not really, like, one of those ones that goes into deep detail. So, for our next card, we're going to do the 10 of Cups. And with this card, we can see it is a little bit dark, a little bit of soul catching, a little bit of dark angel vibes going on, but it is a very card nonetheless. And in upright position, it's divine love, blissful relationships, harmony, alignment. And with this deck, I also associate it with sexual desires being fulfilled. Now, with reversed, it's a disconnect, misaligned values, struggling relationships. On the same thing, I see the card. If it's reversed, it's you're pushing me to my limit. I don't know how much more I can take. So it's one of those cards where imagery can play a part in it, along with the actual meaning. So for our next one, we have the Page of Cups, which in this deck is called Knave. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but it is very different when it comes to this card. And this is what I was talking about, depending on who's making the deck and what you believe. So on the upright position, we've got creative opportunities, intuitive messages, curiosity, or possibility. And then in the reversed, new ideas, doubting, intuition, creative blocks, emotional immaturity. So just kind of keep that in mind while you're reading this. It is a little bit different than what you may see. And by the way, that was the Page of Cups. If I said Knight of Cups, totally ignore that. But speaking of the Knight of Cups, here we go with the Knight of Cups. Very dark, very little bit morbid in this kind of illustration is basically what I'm trying to say. Upright is creative romance, charm, imagination, beauty. Reversed, overaction, imagination, unrealistic jealousy. Now, normally when I see the Knight of Cups, to me, if I see it in reverse, I see it as you're losing something. You're losing something that you're going towards. Because when we think of the cup and we think of it being full and you're going forward, you've got your armor, you've got your resources and things like that. You know, if we see that in reverse, that means something's been stripped. Something's been taken away. At least that's how I view it when I see this card. So our next card is going to be the Queen of Cups, which gives me that Morticia Adams kind of vibe, which I'm living for. And in the upright position, we've got compassionate, caring, emotionally stable, intuitive, and flow, and inner feelings, self-care, self-love, codependency is kind of the reverse action of that. And to me, I find it a card of beauty. It's like channeling all of, taking the emotion that one has and manifesting it into your reality. And that's how I see it with the Queen of Cups. Taking all of that and putting it out there. Now, in reverse, yeah, I do see the dependency. I do see, you know, maybe not being 100% yourself at this time with, like, your feelings and being open. Last but not least, in this set that we're doing is the King of Cups, which gives that very kind of death is just kind of sitting there kind of vibe, you know what I mean, with this card. It is emotionally balanced, compassionate, diplomatic, and that was in the upright. In the reversed, it is self-compassion, inner feelings, moodiness, emotional manipulation. So normally when I see this and it's in reverse, I'm going to tell you, one, here's how I do it. So if it's queen, king, prince, princess, whatever it is throughout the suit, if it involves like a gender norm, if I see it this way, to me that means it's someone who is older. If I see it in reverse, I see that as somebody who is younger. Or maybe that they have an older soul or a younger soul. It just depends on what comes out. So that helps me pinpoint exactly where it's coming from. So that is our suit of cups. that we just went through. And by the way, I'm going to have the link down below for you guys. As you know, I'm slowly doing these little bits at a time, so that way you're not overwhelmed. You're not going to learn tarot in 2 hours unless you are so good. It just happens that way. There is going to be times where you're going to need a book. There is going to be times where you're going to need a website. There is going to be times where you're like, man, I can't remember this. And it really depends on the card you're using. Because if you're using something that's an astrology deck, which is more of the oracle type of realm, it's going to be way different than this. There's going to be different associations, things like that, which I will make a video on. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. And remember, twice a month, we are going to be going over these. So you'll get one week, and then 2 weeks later, you'll get the next part. So that way we can have some good different videos in between, just in case somebody's not into the whole tarot thing. But hopefully this is helping you guys out. If it is, comment down below. If you have any thoughts or suggestions for the new reader, or maybe something that you've learned that you wish you knew along the way, feel free to comment down below, because we're all about sharing our information. And as I always say, no two witches witch alike. And the same thing goes when it comes to reading. So always remember to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your feelings. And until next time, guys, blessed be.